Okay, we've got to talk about the new UFO photo and information released by Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp on the latest episode of Weaponized. This is amazing. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, please share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, let's just get right to it. Great episode of Weaponized. I watched it every week. Fantastic information. And sometimes they have a real scoop like this one. Before they get to that, they talk a lot about how there are swarms of UFOs that are, getting very close to U.S. warships repeatedly over the last few years. And there's these swarms of these things. They don't appear to be drones because when they use their anti-drone technology against them, nothing happens. At one point, they thought there was maybe a Japanese ship responsible for it off the coast of Japan, and they actually boarded the ship, and there was no drone technology there. So what are these objects? What are these swarms of UFOs? Why are they, harassing or whatever they're doing to these U.S. warships? Are they doing it to other ships from other countries as well? We just don't know. But then they get into the news story about the UFO shootdown, or where some jets were scrambled to intercept a strange-looking UFO. Some were calling it the dome. Some were calling it the squid. There's actually a new article about it on Liberation Times. The photo is this. That's the image that was released by Jeremy Corbell. Is this weird-looking thing. Kind of reminds me of, if you're a Star Wars fan, the probe that landed on Hoth, right? So here is a mock-up of that somebody did trying to see what this thing really would have looked like in 3D without all the grainy stuff. And yeah, so hats off to Joey Is Not My Name for this really cool visual. Okay, well, let's just get into the article. Exclusive photo captures UFO intercepted by UK's Royal Air Force as Five Eyes intelligence report highlights growing difficulty in monitoring surge of unidentified craft across the Middle East. What is going on? In 2021, the UK's Royal Air Force intercepted an object initially flagged as a potential terrorist drone above Syria. However, a Five Eyes intelligence report generated months following the event classified the object as a UFO. The new revelation was reported by investigative journalist Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. Corbell and Knapp, who were exposed to the document, shared both an image and pertinent details of the incident. In December 2021, the UK's Ministry of Defence classified the object, referred to Corbell as a dome-shaped U.A.P., as a small hostile drone. According to Corbell, the Five Eyes report was published months after the incident occurred and indicates that on December 14, 2021, an RAF Typhoon jet shot at one UAP using an ASRAAM missile. At the time, the incident was reported as the first enemy aircraft shot down by the RAF since the Falklands War in Argentina more than 40 years ago. That reminds me of NORAD scrambling fighters for the first time that we know of to shoot down that object in North America recently during Balloon Gate. Although an RAF press release in December 2021 stated that the craft was brought down and destroyed, Corbell noted that the Five Eyes report does not explicitly state that the craft identified as a UAP was downed or destroyed. So I guess we don't know what happened to this thing. Reporting on the story, the BBC noted that the MOD, Ministry of Defense, did not say which hostile group was operating the drone, despite the RAF later characterizing it as a terrorist drone. Yeah, I'm not buying that is a drone. I mean, what sort of drone could that be? I could almost buy some sort of crazy balloon or something, but A drone? I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. But yeah, the RAF has clearly stated this was a hostile drone, which it may have been. But if that is the case, why was it labeled a UAP in internal documents? Furthermore, why were the operators of the craft never confirmed? The MOD has no opinion on the existence of ET life and no longer investigates reports of sightings on UAP. This is because in over 50 years, no such reporting to the department indicated the existence of any military threat to the UK. And it was deemed more valuable to prioritize MOD staff resources toward other defense-related activities. Interesting take. So they're shooting at these objects, but they're not a threat. I guess that object was in the Middle East, so technically they're right. I guess maybe, but come on. That's the weakest excuse I've ever heard. Although I do like the fact that they're not characterizing it as a threat. They are going out of their way to say that it's not a threat, which is nice. They're not leaning on the threat narrative, so something. It is important to note that the U.S. DoD refers to U.A.P, unidentified anomalous phenomena, as objects that are not immediately identifiable, meaning many will inevitably, most likely be attributable to objects such as drones or balloons. Corbell told Liberation Times the MOD is a puzzling contradiction on this matter. Not only does the department not investigate UAP cases, but it has also stated that no reports of UAP indicate the existence of any military threat to the UK. If the documents I have been exposed to are accurate, then the UK's current position regarding UAP is no longer sustainable. You tell them, Jeremy. You tell them. Let's see if they take it back. Corbell told Liberation Times that the Five Eyes report was generated due to concerns arising from an increased frequency and a lack of mandate to address UAP intrusions where troops are stationed. Corbell noted that the United States Central Command, CENTCOM, has been dealing with this issue for 15 years and that an alarming uptick in sightings since 2021 is causing frustration among U.S. Department of Defense insiders due to a lack of authority to deal with intrusions within the proximity of coalition forces. Corbell told Liberation Times that sources familiar with the report said that U.S. forces had tracked UAPs traveling over coalition forces bases around the region. Corbell added that UAPs have been reported through ground radars, cameras, and military aircraft using a variety of methods including visual contact, radar, infrared, and electro-optical sensors. Corbell says, whether they are prosaic or not, this presents a huge risk to coalition forces. It has reached a point where internal intelligence reports are now being written to warn our allies about UAP. I know for a fact that due to the abundance of sightings, some base defense operations centers are no longer reporting UAPs, which makes the tracking or characterization of events hugely challenging. He goes on to say that Russian and Syrian forces are also firing at these objects, clearly hinting that it's not Russian or Syrian, right? He also says that these sightings, these objects, unless they're carrying a payload, oftentimes these sightings go unreported up the chain of command, so nobody's doing anything about them. According to that information, clearly somebody knows some stuff and is probably doing something behind the scenes, but we don't know what or who. And I say that based on all the reports of humans interacting with UFOs and the occupants of those UFOs, military and government types. So somebody knows something about the phenomenon and is working with it. So I would assume they know something about what's going on. But, then again, maybe they don't. Maybe this is a new player in town or from some faction that they don't know anything about. Who knows? Corbell also says that these objects, if they are downed, there's no recovery missions to retrieve them in the war zone, which is interesting. He goes on to say, the question we're asking is why? Why are we not figuring out where these things are from? That is, of course, unless black, secretive, compartmentalized programs, as alleged by whistleblowers, are undertaking such operations unbeknownst to senior military officials in charge of those operational areas. Yeah, that's the control group, and of course, they're doing something, probably, right? Earlier this year, in a bombshell letter, Larry Maguire urged Canada's Minister of Defense, National Defense, to request a briefing which could verify that Canada and the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance are involved in a secretive program concerning the recovery and exploitation of materials originating from U.A.P. News of the RAF incident first came to mainstream public attention on the Joe Rogan Experience. In one of Corbell's appearances on the show, he described the craft as resembling a jellyfish. Yeah, and you can totally see that. I mean, it's only got one tentacle, but yeah, it's kind of jellyfish-like. Just, like I said, it reminds me of that Star Wars probe droid. He says, I have images of one we fired on. It looks like a jellyfish the size of a big coffee table, 10 to 12 feet in domed. So, yeah, I guess that object is the one he's talking about, and it was 10 to 12 feet across. Or is he talking from top to bottom? I'm not sure. Corbell added that the report highlights how U.S. intelligence appears to have ruled out any possibility the unknown objects were Syrian or Russian, as both sides have been observed shooting at them. Jeremy also said UAPs observed in the region were not assets being deployed and controlled by nefarious rogue actors. No actors claimed ownership, and no systems with this morphology have been identified as being employed as weapons or carrying munitions by such groups. So it's not Russia, it's not Syria, it's not rogue actors. Who are these guys? Well, let's just say they are genuine UFOs, operated by non-humans. Why are they there? What are they doing? Are they just interested in the war and how we are conducting the war? Are they just there as observers? Are they reminding us of something? Are they there to deliberately remind us of their presence? Are they helping in some way? I'm reminded of the Foo Fighters in World War II, that were widely reported. And as I've covered before, they weren't just the orbs. They actually came in a variety of shapes and sizes. Most of the same sizes and shapes we're seeing today, from saucers to cylinders, etc. However, I never heard of a squid-like Foo Fighter, so this is a new one. The revelations come at a time when the U.S. Select Committee on Intelligence has stated that occurrences of UAPs have risen exponentially, giving credence to the Five Eyes report. Anyway, that's all the information we have about this dome, or squid, whatever you want to call it. I will, of course, link to the Weaponized podcast below, and I totally encourage you to watch it. There's some other really great information in it. But hats off to Jeremy and George for releasing this fantastic photo and the information behind it. I would love to know what the world or worlds is going on. What do you guys think is going on? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, and I know you do, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt, see the merch store below, or becoming a channel member, because channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll check you guys out next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.